Radio station standing by. King Munada interview is coming in 1.5 minutes. Can I confirm you guys are ready?
He's a member of parliament as well.
Beautiful. I can see Dida is ready.
The king of Abatembu supporter, Adam Bona. Morena Mota, Warakawa from Free State, Morena. The chairperson of the House of Traditional Leaders at national level, Kosima Tango, Zola Kapongo.
Going live on air with King Munada. Now we start with the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and away we go.
14 minutes before 2. It is an exciting day indeed. Ramu Kokwaila in Ramujaji. It is the recognition of the Balobedu Queenship by government. But of course, I must say thank you to MTN for this broadcast. Indeed, they are everywhere you go, and tonight or today. I keep on saying tonight, but today they are at Mogokwaila Stadium, and the stadium is filled to capacity, and we're experiencing and meeting all sorts of personalities, exciting people. And earlier on I had spoken to Miss Candy, and right now I am joined by King Munada. Hubian. I'm fantastic. How are you feeling about today?
Yeah, that's good. We just like a little hole. Because keeping a lot for Baulu. Yeah.
Where do you come from originally?
Gigwam Kulabud.
How far is it from here?
I think more about 30 kilos. 30 or 32 somewhere.
So now, when you realized that, or rather you got the invitation for today, what did it mean to you? What did you understand about what is happening today?
Yeah, badze ba rona mo ya like ba recognize ke fidor ba recognize jore le borna Balobedu rona ba re kona o dira music.
How is that musical journey of yours going outside of the province, of course? I got one on our high.
Yeah.
Better out of home. How are things going?
Dilo zama sharp like cause anabele black is too much the college and the like tsona le mabani grades vile ya go Botswana ya omwe artist je di uloka go mfone de ba ke vima mpezi mfone then arona event tsungere de ka go so one.
And why did you decide when you're going to focus on Kilobedu when it comes to your music?
Yeah, give a little bit too much but bang inspire le about some level Candy. Since Gamazaba Kobelaga Lemlawa, Zanga Chencha, Le Joe Shermani, Libabangua, the late Platinet, Obon, Yagin Sparlik Bashpa, Baba Gabazaba Gomulu, so that's why I'm not going to know. Then I line the Nagazabuja, I change music, Zamagam Kono, because one I want to Bajelena Wona and about Pumele, which means Langa Jalaniaga, yeah, is.
And waphumelele
and ngiyarigi yaphumelela
ngiyawubona ibilo butsanampi
thank you
okaru yelo boni nyana so
but beke kam azange kabuja kumuntu so kuwena wino thank you
and your message to your fans.
Yeah, ngari mo bona re a leboa esika bo bona re ka sekhone so ba kwele bello re support re a barata re ka zuri ra change le ka mokhoba ba phela ba khorobela ma ka mokhoba re ska zuri ra change ra lata stepera ga se sengwe so re a lata re go la bele ene ga tsa ba bona re ne re tsore le ba bo jore tsora yona.
Thank you so much, King Munada, for taking the time to engage in this conversation with me.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Once again, please get ready to take the President of the country's speech, Cyril Ramaphosa. And away we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and
of our country who have come to grace this occasion, our queens and our kings from various kingdoms that make up our beautiful country. And I extend my greetings to the members of the Balobedu Royal Council, the chairperson of the National House of Traditional Leaders, Kedumedise, le Mo-Presidente o fetsang go tswa setulong, Mo-Presidente Jacob Zuma, Kedumedise, the Minister wa rona wa Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Dr. Zweli Mkhize, the Minister wa tsa thuto ya dikolo Mme Angie Motshekga le Dr. Mathole Motshekga. Ke dumedise Premier wa rona Ntate Tshuku Mathabate le Mme Mathabate. Ke dumedise di MEC tse hona mo le chairperson of Limpopo Traditional Leaders, the mayor tsa rona le di councillor tsa rona, baetapele ba di business tse hona mo. Ke dumedise Bishop wa rona Barnabas Lekganyane o hona hare ga rena mo. Ke dumedise ba mokana rena ba hona mo, ladies and gentlemen. Mamotha ne ke nahanne hore ke tla bolela ka Khilobedu. Bjale ba tsebang Khilobedu a ba soka ba nruta Khilobedu. Se ke se tsebang fela ko hore Khilokele ka maobane. Ke sa emetse hore ba nthute Khilobedu. Ke be ya ko ruba, re a ruba, re a locha, masala na go mojaji, mali ya kovela, Chiwana Nkina Muloti, ke lodwa ke Mabu Adzila. Okay, tuta Khilobedu Mamotha. Re a locha motho wa ha Matupe ngwana Mutapa, Munembiri Khuru tsa Mutapa. Se re tswa kwa Zimbabwe bjale, re fihlile mo, re fitile kwa Venda, re fihlile mo ha Balobedu. Kidupudi ka Mukhalaka. Mutu wabo Kacheptwane, mutu wa Mankoma Muratadi, mutu wa Mukope Maufane, mwana wa Mukoba Chamusada, mutu wa Ramafulo Mafala, Ndoni Mugudo ufala kanaka ya pula. Kika diera mabulana. Ahe mulozi Mukhalaga Mukweho. Ahe Balobedu Bakhololo. Ahe Balobedu Balubataka. Hulubile khomo le motho. Balozi we. Balozi way. Hula. Hula. Au, akilekile Khilobedu Mamotha. Ahona kansega. Ke lethabo le legolo ho nna mo gore ke emele mmuso wa Republic ya South Africa on this great and august occasion to celebrate the historical recognition of the Modjadji Queenship, the first in the Republic of South Africa. Now, this is a really historic occasion, and we are also privileged to have been given the opportunity to participate in such an occasion. As we mark this historic occasion, as we celebrate, we also mourn the passing of the mother of the nation, Mama Winnie Mandela, who fought heroically for the liberation of our people. Just like Modjadji II, who fought against territorial plunder by the Transvaal Republic and who refused to be taxed by the colonial authorities, Mama Winnie dedicated her life to the struggle against the dispossession and subjugation of her people. Mama Winnie Mandela, hantle una tshwana le Queen Modjadji II. Kaobane le yena o ile a gana gore ba basweu ba mo gatelle ba mo ise kwa fatshe. The warriors of Queen Modjadji and Makgoba conquered the Boer commandos and forced them to flee to Polokwane. General Piet Joubert and Paul Kruger called for reinforcement from all over the Transvaal, and only then could the Balobedu and the Maliboho be conquered and colonized. Queen Modjadji kept the flame of freedom alive at the height of apartheid repression. She suffered persecution, she suffered humiliation and severe harassment, but remained resolute in her quest for freedom. As we celebrate this queenship, let us salute Mama Winnie Madikizela Mandela and celebrate her immense contribution to the struggle for freedom and her contribution to improving the lives of our people. Mama Winnie will be very proud of this celebration today, the recognition of her queenship. She was also prominent among those who fought for women to assume their rightful place as leaders of our people. In terms of our Constitution, which was the result of decades of tireless struggle, all people are equal before the law, men and women, young and old, black and white, rich or poor. The recognition of queenship in the country demonstrates commitment to the principle and value of gender equality, as well as the recognition of the leadership role that women play in all spheres of life. So this, Balobedu and the people of our country, is a truly historic milestone in the democratic South Africa that we live in today. The President of the Republic recognized the Balobedu community as the first queenship in South Africa 2 years ago on 31st March 2016. This was the historic restoration of the dignity of the Balobedu. Balobetsi or Balobedu identity was born in the Njelele Valley in the present-day Venda, there are still many Balobedu or Balobedu in Venda, including Balobezi ba Chitocheni, Balobezi ba Ligege, Balobezi ba Ramachekisa, and others who still identify themselves as being part of the Mujajis. The Balobedu of Mujaji are also the same stock with the Bakwebo of Matiza of Luande and Nerubola of Rubola. They all revere the dove and the bush pig and migrated from Great Zimbabwe through Nachianuru in Venda. But the Bedu are also the kith and kin of Masingo, of Asenzi, from Buhwa in Bulozi, a section of Balozi, Bakalanga, of Chingamira, Mwanamutopa in Zimbabwe. This recognition emanated from the investigation that was conducted by the Commission of Traditional Leadership, Disputes and Claims. The recognition of this queenship is a clear demonstration that our people long ago did reject this classification of tribalism. Our people used to live amongst each other without any fast tribal affiliation. They lived with each other in peace until the colonialists came and implemented their divide and rule policy. Today's event is a celebration of a unique and enduring royal leadership with a rich history that dates back over orderly, which is in terms of the Queen-elect rather, will assume responsibility that has been borne by a long line of kings and queens who have served their people with dignity, with humility, with purpose and great responsibility, always putting the interests of the people ahead of the interests of the individual. I was privileged to be part of a delegation of the African National Congress that paid a courtesy visit to the Queenship earlier this year. This was a continuation of the courtesy visits that the leadership of the governing party has been making to the traditional leaders of our people throughout the country. As the oldest liberation movement in existence on the African continent, we thought it appropriate to introduce our new leadership to the descendants of the kings and the queens who helped found our movement. This demonstrates the unbreakable bond between the past and the present, between the challenges our people confront today and the battles that they fought for generations against dispossession and injustice. The Balobedu Queenship is a living instance of that unbreakable bond. It reminds us of where we come from and where together we hope to go as a nation. This occasion is both a celebration of the Balobedu Queenship and an opportunity to affirm the vital institution of traditional leadership. Traditional leaders have a crucial role to play in building a society free of poverty unemployment, and inequality. Lihezi sezoambiwa ngaKhosi Khulu boThoni Ramabulana bachiri buhosi ni mushumo une waba umushumo wa ushumela lushaka lumushumo wa wita uri buchilo abantu balushaka bubvele phanda zwavhuḓi buhosi ke ntho e botlhokwa gagolo go rena batho ba Afrika re le batho ba South Africa ke mushumo wa gore maphelo a batho ba rena a be kaone mahosi a rena ke batho ba ikemiseditsego go šomela setšhaba gore setšhaba se kgone go tswelela pele botse. Our traditional leaders need to be at the forefront of the struggle to restore the rights and the dignity of our people. They need to ensure that the land is restored to those who work it, and that those to whom the land has been returned have the means to work it. Ke a kgolwa gore setse le kwele ka mokana lena gore mokgatlo wa rona o mogolo wa African National Congress o ile wa fetsa ko conferenceng ya ona ka December gore lefatshe le la rona mmu o wa rona o boele setšhabeng o boele matsogong a beng ba bona mmu o ileng wa tšewa ke bao ba ne ba re gatelletse o boele setšhabeng ke ona mošomo o re tla bang re sebetsana ka ona re le mmuso gore ba hana kapa ba hane lefatshe le la rena le tshwanetse gore le boele go beng ba lona re tla dia bjalo gore lefatshe le boele go batho ba rena. Our government is committed to give effect to the provisions of Chapter 12 of the Constitution, especially the restoration of the dignity of the institution of traditional leadership in a constitutional democracy, and to provide for its roles and powers. Renyaka hori, buhosi, whether it is through our kings or our queens, bobe buhosi, bo tabang, bo tsamaiswa ka constitution ya lefatshe la rena. Re buisetse le seriti le boemo le mešomo ya bogosi ba rena gore e be ntho e tlhomphiwang ke setšhaba ka mokana sona. And considering that an estimated 25 million South Africans who live in rural areas under the leadership of traditional authorities, this institution has a vital role to play within the governance system to advance the developmental agenda of our country. The Department of Traditional Affairs has assessed the functionality of traditional councils in 7 of the 8 provinces with recognized traditional leaders, namely in Limpopo, in the Northern Cape, in the Free State, in Mpumalanga, in Gauteng, Eastern Cape, and Northwest. One of the key focus areas of the assessment was the level and quality of participation of traditional leadership structures in municipal councils and in their contribution to integrated developmental planning processes. The Ministry of Corporate Governance and Traditional Affairs, which is led by Dr. Zweli Mkhize, will work to address legislative gaps identified in the assessment affecting the participation of traditional leadership at local government level. Hantle re nyaka hore mahosi a rena ba shumisane botse le di-councillor tsa rena le bo masepala ba rena ba shumisane ka tsela e tla diang gore go be le service delivery e botse mo batho ba rena ba dulang gone. We are engaged in discussions with our traditional leaders on how they can play a direct role in sustaining an increased agricultural production. It is in agriculture that we want the majority of our young people, and I can see that there are many of them here today. We want our young people to participate effectively in agriculture like they do in other countries. When some of us travel to various countries in the world, we often see how young people have been drawn into agriculture, firstly, through gaining experience right at the homestead, through gaining experience at the agricultural colleges that are in the various areas where they are growing up. We want to increase the throughput of our agricultural colleges so that we can put through many young people in those colleges so that they can be trained in food production, livestock production, agri-processing of all manner of sectors in the agricultural area. We want to produce enough food so that we can begin to export large quantities of food, because there are many countries that don't have the type of fertile land that we have. There are many countries that are crying out for the type of land that we have. It is for this reason that it is important for us to return the land to our people, because having been just given 13% of the land by our colonizers, 87% of the land that was in the hands of a minority was not being productively utilized. One of the key reasons we want our land back is to make sure that we utilize the land in our country much more productively, so that we can produce food for the world, so that we can produce food to feed our nation. This is a great moment for our country. It gives us great opportunities, and it is for this reason that we want more and more young people to look at agriculture as a growth industry. It is for this reason that we want those who have flocked to the urban areas to consider coming back to the land, to come and work the land as we return the land to our people. That we are going to return the land to our people is a foregone conclusion, because we are going to do it, and we will do it for the sake of the dignity of our people, but also for the sake of increasing the agricultural production of our agricultural sector, and also to grow the economy of our country. So therefore, it is in this area that our traditional leaders have a role to play in promoting the attractiveness of agriculture to all our people, but especially the young people in our country. It is for this reason that we want our traditional leaders to play an important role in promoting the economic growth that will lead to job creation in the areas where our traditional leaders have control, and also to encourage local economic development. South Africa stands at a time when we can utilize agriculture as a great growth opportunity, yes, to create jobs for all our people, but especially our young people. We cannot build thriving rural economies without the participation of traditional leaders. And it is in these areas where our traditional leaders govern or rule that we will also be able to promote the growth of other sectors of the economy. The manufacturing sector can kick in as agriculture needs manufacturing. The chemical sector can kick in as agriculture also needs fertilizers and chemicals. The engineering sector can kick in because agriculture needs tractors and other engineering implements. So Bahayesu, Balobedu, these celebrations provide an opportunity to understand the responsibility that each one of us bears to ensure that we respond to the needs of our communities. They also provide an opportunity for us to understand one another's culture and heritage, not only in South Africa, but across the region and the continent. And that is why we are pleased that there are representatives of various countries amongst us today who have joined us for these celebrations. For us as South Africans, traditional leadership is an important component of our nationhood. The institution forms part of our national identity and contributes to nation building and social cohesion. Millions of our people identify with traditional leaders as both symbols, but also as guarantees of unity in our communities. We congratulate the Balobedu people on the bestowal of their queenship. This historic event calls indeed for a celebration, but it is a celebration that must lead us to address the needs of our people. It must lead us to address the issues of poverty, inequality, as well as unemployment. It must address itself to the actual direct needs of our people, such as the roads, water, and all the other services that our people need. It also reminds us of the hard work we must still undertake to ensure that the lives of our people do indeed improve. Let us be ready to roll up our sleeves in the spirit of Tumamina to build a better life for all the people in this community, in this country, and across the continent. Balobedu, rekwile gore, le batla gore, Kilobedu, ibe leleme le leng le tla recognizwang mo South Africa, rekwile. eo re kwele botse e tla šomiwa re tla isa gore bao ba e šomang ba e šome botse ba e lokise botse le bone le lena gore ha re šoma ntho tsa rena ka tsela e tshwanetseng ka tsela ya semmuso ka tsela ya molao re a kgona gore re phumelele le ile la re le nyaka gore bohosi bo ba lena ba Bolobedu bo kgutlisetswe maemong a le a kgale Mamotha re etsa celebration re a ketika Mamotha ka hobane bohosi bo le ba Bolobedu bo boetse mo bo tshwanetseng gore bo emete Mamotha bohosi ba Bolobedu bo tshwana le bohosi ba baVenda bo tshwana le bohosi ba maZulu bo tshwana le bohosi ba maXhosa bo tshwana le bohosi ba batho ba bantši mo South Africa a re leboge a re phololetse re le bue re re zweitea re a zwi leboa yale re le yona ya mmu ya lefatshe la lena le ileng la tšewa re re le yona a re šome ka sa molao a re šome ka tsela e tshwanetseng ka gobane re bone gore ha re šoma ntho tsa rena ka tsela ya molao ntho di a loka a re phololetse nepo re 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 a leboa re roše re re pula ya leboga Balobedu le sa le botse ke yona ke Khilokele ka maobane.
That was the President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, giving the keynote address at the Balobedu Queenship Stated celebration, and has even likened the late Mama Winnie Madikizela to Queen Modjadji II for being a powerful woman who struggled against oppression and also recognized the leadership role that women play in all spheres of life. I must say thank you to MTN for this broadcast, because MTN is everywhere you go, and the beauty of it all is that MTN has come over to the bright side in Ramojadji in celebration of the Balobedu Queenship status.
Radio stations, now it's the Premier of the Province. Please, let's stand by for the Premier of the Province. He's coming on the countdown in 10, 9,
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and away we go.
It's exactly 2:30, and we are still in Ramojadji Ramokwakwayila, and it is in the recognition of the Balobedu Queenship by government, and it is wonderful to actually experience this with you through MTN for this broadcast. A big thank you because they've decided to come over to the bright side, and of course right now I am joined by the Premier of the Limpopo Province, that is His Excellency Stanley Chupu Mathabatha. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Lutabo, and good afternoon to your listeners.
How are you feeling about this great achievement today?
Very happy, ecstatic, and fulfilled.
Why did it take so long, though, for the Balobedu Queenship to be recognized?
You know, the process of recognition takes long because there is lots and lots of consultations and research that has to be conducted before you do that. Because as government, you don't want to commit mistakes, as you would realize that most kingships are contested, including ordinary traditional leadership positions are contested, just like politics, political positions are contested.
But now, this is the first of its kind. It's a queenship. And what does that
whole
mean?
of Africa.
In the entire Africa. So what does that mean to the women of South Africa?
It's a restoration of dignity, a restoration of social justice. We are actually saying to the womanhood, the women of our country, that this is your democracy, you earned it. This is your democracy, you fought for it, and you deserve it. You've got to make use and enjoy it.
Premier, let's bring it back to the people of Balobedu. What does this recognition mean to them?
It then means that they'll get their own budget as the kingship. They will be able to run the civic issues of the Balobedis using that budget from both the national government and the provincial government. Currently, the provincial government is providing them with 5 million rands, but it's just a beginning.
Was it not impressive when the president attempted to address
very impressive. Very impressive. In fact, I was astonished. I didn't expect it from him.
That's wonderful. Before I let you go, Premier, what is the message that you would like to send out to the people of the province and the country, and of course of those in Ramojaji?
To the people of Ramojaji, the Balobedus, Balodzi, I want to say to them that this restoration should be considered as a restoration of pride for the Balobedus. And it's a beginning. It's not an end. It's a beginning of things to come. As you heard, the president was talking about the language being made official, the language being included in the government gazette, the issue of the land also. There is also the issue of some of the senior traditional leaders of the Balobedis who have not been recognized. Hence, I'm saying it's just a beginning, but please take care of it. Never lose this ball anywhere in your life, in the root of your life. It's a historical restoration. It restores the history and tradition of the Balobedis. Keep it like that.
And you must keep up the good work as well, Premier. You're doing us very proud. Thank you so much for every effort.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Sure.
Oh, we shall continue with that. It's exactly 25 to 3, and we're still in Ramojaji. It's exciting, it's hot, it's blazing, and we do hope that it will rain at some point today. And I'm actually going to be joined by the Minister of COGTA, that's Corporate Governance and Traditional Affairs, Dr. Zweli Mkhize. But before we actually do that, I was engaged in conversation with the Premier of Limpopo. That was Premier Stanley Chupu Mathabata. And let me start welcoming the Minister of COGTA, Corporate Governance and Traditional Affairs, Dr. Zweli Mkhize. Doc, good evening. Good afternoon to you, and welcome to this conversation.
Thank you very much.
How are you?
To all the listeners. I'm fine, thank you.
Fantastic. Welcome home.
Yes, thank you very much.
And
I'll be coming back a few times from now.
And the heat, how are you handling the heat? I think the Rain Queen is playing tricks on us.
I expect that before the end of the day there should be rain here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. Let's delve straight into the conversation. Why did it take so long to recognize the Balobedu Queenship?
Well, I think we must look back at the history of the country, that most of the kingdoms were destroyed over the many years of colonial invasion, and therefore our people wanted to get these restored, but in the process it took a long time, and some of them were distorted and some of them were contested, and so President Mandela assigned a commission that should investigate this over a period. The Hlapo Commission received submissions from communities and made sure that they thoroughly investigated and researched which were the rightful kingships that had to be restored. And this took a long time, and I think this matter was concluded in the whole country around the same time. So I think it was because of the investigation, it was because it was necessary to set in place a process where we can even sift where there were contests and disagreements about whether there was kingship or queenship, and whether the people who on the throne were the rightful people. And as you know, a number of other areas, we have these matters still in court.
And earlier, the president was addressing it. He says this is a milestone in the democratic South Africa. What does it mean for the people of the country in actual fact?
Well, when we talk about freedom, it wasn't just a question of us being able to vote, but it was also about us rebuilding the institutions of our people, which means that the issues of the traditional leadership institution had to be rebuilt in a way that's going to be able to restore the dignity of our people. It meant also that we needed to redress the issue of land dispossession. That's why we're discussing the issue around land. It also means that we have to talk about how to get our people to participate effectively in the building of the economy. So when you take the children to school and talk about radical economic transformation and people sharing in the wealth of the country, all of this is what it actually means. We want a total emancipation of our people. So this is just one aspect thereof.
And how's government going to support the people of Ramojaji, the Balobedu?
Basically, this celebration has had a lot of support from government, so we will be working together on areas where we believe that we need to give support. I've been assigned now to this portfolio to deal with some of the areas of what type of support, so we're working through that to be able to help to ensure that every community feels the support from government. So once we've got all of this finalized, we'll be able to make an announcement. But the National House of Traditional Leaders has been sitting with us to work through the nature of support that is needed for various kingships. So we will be finalizing that and announcing that in due course. The rest of the other issues is basically to assist to make sure that the issues of social cohesion, fighting against social ills, and all of those issues, nation building, promoting the diversity of our cultures, we continue to give support, and we will do so as local government, as provincial government, as national government. We shall be working very closely together with the Mujaji Queenship.
I also think this sends a very strong message to women.
It does.
What does it say?
It says it sends a strong message to women. Number one, that women are as capable of leading as any other man, and women must always know that there's such a situation. Secondly, that women needs to work together with men, and we ensure that our systems encourage equality of all people, that issues of emancipation of women and the women's rights are not issues of women alone. These are issues of society as a whole, and that women must grow up knowing that it's only your dreams and your potential that will take you where you want to go. There's no more a situation where the fact that you're a woman means that you'll always play second fiddle. We're just mourning the passing of Mama Winnie Mandela. Mama Winnie Mandela never told herself that she's a woman and therefore she's not able to lead. She stood up and led even in areas where even men were not brave enough to do so. So I think that the message of these two stories is that to young women, that the future has no limit for them. They can rise to any level of leadership that they aspire for, and they must be accepted as such.
Minister, before I let you go, your final message?
My message is to the people of Balobedu that we are with you, we support the Queenship, and work together with the Queenship and make sure that you restore the dignity of all our people. But we will be dealing with a whole lot of other issues that are outstanding, issues of land, issues of the economy. We're working on all of those. We want to encourage, particularly the youth, to go to school and make sure that they acquire the adequate education so that they can take over this country as better leaders than we've had in the past.
Thank you so much, Minister, for taking the time to engage in conversation with me.
Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
That was Minister of COGTA, that's Corporate Governance and Traditional Affairs, Dr. Zweli Mkhize, and he does recognize the day today and what the people of Ramojaji are going through and celebrating. And it was wonderful, actually, getting to have the minister right in the midst of our home grounds and to celebrate this milestone. Of course, after this, I'm going to be engaging in conversation with the MEC of COGTA. That's Corporate Governance, Housing and Traditional Affairs. But before I do that, this would not have been possible if it is not by MTN for this broadcast. Everywhere you go, whether you want to go to Ramojaji or you want to go to Ramokwakwayila Stadium or you want to go anywhere in the province, MTN takes you there because, hey, the only thing you need to do is to come over to the bright side. Good afternoon, MEC. How are you doing?
No, I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Fantastic. This is MEC Jerinto, and you're looking very snazzy today.
Thank you.
And what are you doing here?
Today we're here joining the people of Bulawayo to celebrate with them the restoration of their queenship. If you remember, their queenship was taken away from them. And this government, which came into being as part of the process of restoring the dignity of our people, has restored the queenship of Bulawayo.
How proud are you of what's happening today?
No, personally, I'm very proud. I'm very proud because this is a great achievement for the people of Bulawayo and generally South Africa. We are restoring back the dignity that was taken away from our people. People are going to begin to go back to the values that has always governed and guided them on their daily lives. They're going to have an authority that is going to drive development in this area, that is going to deal with various areas, including disputes among the Bulawayo people. It will be easy for them to refer issues and problems to the queenship for them to be able to intervene. But also, it's an opportunity for us as government to be able to work with an authority which has been recognized, which will assist us to work on the developmental program for the Bulawayo people.
And speaking of those developmental programs, what more is your department going to be doing, particularly for the people of Ramojaji?
I mean, there are a lot of things that we're doing as government, both in terms of providing housing, doing various services like roads and them. Those will continue. What will assist us more is that we'll be working very closely with the queenship, because they'll have identified the needs of their community, and it will assist us in drawing a program that will work hand in hand with the queenship to ensure that we pursue the developmental programs.
MEC, this is the first queenship that's recognized in Africa, and it's happening in South Africa. What message is this driving to the women of the country?
I think it's the first and the only queenship, and it's historical. Not only because it's the queenship, it's women leadership that is at the helm, but because of the magical powers that has always been associated with this queenship. But also, I think we always said that the emancipation and empowerment of women in Bulawayo started a long time ago, in the 1800s. And women proved that it is possible through the queenship to be able to lead a nation.
Yes.
And I think it sends a message that there's nothing that stops women from taking over leadership wherever they can. And they must look forward. They must be inspired by the queenship. They must be inspired by icons and legends like Winnie Mandela. They must be inspired by women who came before them, that it is possible that anything, any position, anything women can do.
MEC, before I let you go, your final message?
Our final message is that we've restored the queenship. It is for you people from Balobedu to make sure that you work together with the queenship to restore the dignity and a good working relationship among the queenship and its people. This is for the benefit of the development of the area, and we'll be working together with them to make sure that we pursue that agenda.
Thank you so much, MEC Jerindo, for taking the time to engage in conversation with me.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Have a good one. That was the MEC of Coxta. That's Jerry Ndou. And of course, we are still in celebration of the recognition of the queenship. And I must say thank you to MTN for actually affording us this opportunity to broadcast live from Ramojaji. Look, I told you that this is going to be an interesting conversation that you and I are going to be having. And like MTN says, come on over to the bright side. This is where we are. I'm taking you through conversations with various key players. And of course, right now, I'm actually joined by the National House of Traditional Leaders, Mr. Mahlangu. Good evening. Oh, good afternoon to you, and welcome to this conversation.
Thank you, and good day to your listeners.
Thank you for that one. How are you doing?
I'm all right, and how are you?
I'm good. Straight from the National House of Traditional Leaders, what role do you play in communities in general before we delve into what's happening today?
Look, the National House of Traditional Leaders is an organization that is a government entity. It is more like Parliament of Traditional Leaders. It comments on bills or any legislation that affects rural communities. It is the custodian of culture for rural communities. It also represents all traditional leaders throughout the country. It is also the mouthpiece for rural communities on any issue that affects our rural communities. The National House would also have a say. It also guides on how traditional councils work. It also speaks for the support that should be given to traditional councils. It lobbies government. It also gives advice to government when it comes to areas in rural communities.
It sounds like you probably you played a very pivotal role in what is happening today. Can you delve a little bit deeper into that? What role have you played in what's happening today?
Look, as the institution of traditional leaders, government said that one of their key areas of focus is to bring back respect to the institution of traditional leaders. So as the House, we've been part of the commission. We've been assisting in terms of the research process that has led to where we are, and we also handle a lot of claims that are coming from different traditional councils, and we also advise government on the culture that has been followed by those communities. I mean, if there is a traditional leader that has been appointed by the family, because a traditional leader is normally chosen by the family, and government just recognizes what the family tells them, but that would also be taken to the House so that the House can confirm that the culture of those communities was followed to the latter, so that you don't have people that would come back tomorrow and oppose what government has done in terms of appointing that rightful heir or that rightful person that is supposed to be receiving their traditional status. And I think we have fought vehemently that our queenships have to be respected. We've also played a very pivotal role in terms of making sure that transformation happens within the institution of traditional leadership. I think people can see, even from the representation within the National House, where for the first time, in fact, no, this is the second time that we're having a deputy chairperson that is female, but we've also made sure that in provincial houses, there are houses that are led by female traditional leaders, others in the form of deputy chairpersons positions, but in the Free State and the Northern Cape, where you have chairpersons of houses being women. So we're playing a very pivotal role in terms of giving the stature of women have within the institution of traditional leadership.
Fantastic. We're here, right, in Ramujaji, and this is the recognition of the queenship, which is the first of its kind in the entire continent. What message are we driving to the women?
Look, I think what we are saying to women is that women's issues have always been very key within the institution of traditional leadership. There's many women that have played a very pivotal role within this institution. I mean, we've got Bom Kabai, Kachama in the Zulu kingship. We've got Bomanta DC in this Moshweshwe dynasty, and you have others. But this is a different one. You don't have. This is not a woman that is playing a role in the background, but it is a woman's kingship that is there in the forefront, where the community decide on its own that we are changing our culture. We want women to be the ones that are at the forefront. And we support this as the institution because it tells you that women are as capable as any other man in terms of leading.
Yes.
You know, that's why I was mentioning earlier that even within the house, in terms of driving the transformation agenda, we've made sure that women are represented in the house, and they are taking key leadership positions within the house. We're not just speaking, but we are practicing it as traditional leaders. And I think a lot of people would know that in each and every traditional house, either women play a role in terms of appointing those that are supposed to succeed, or they are the ones that would give the last word on anything that would happen within most traditional councils. I think even mine, the aunt is the one that gives the last word, even more importantly than I would give one as the one that leads. Everybody would listen to what the aunt says, because that's the key person within the institution. That is the pillar of the institution of traditional leadership.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mahlangu, for taking the time to engage in this conversation with me.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity.
Have a good one, sir.
All right, thank you.
Wow, that was wonderful. It was Mr. Mahlangu from the National House of Traditional Leaders. And just a quick reminder of where we are. We are broadcasting live from Ramu Kwakwaila in Ramujaji, and this is in recognition of the Balobedu Queenship by government. And I must say a big thank you to MTN for this broadcast. Indeed, they are everywhere you go, and today we are at Mokwakwaila Stadium. Of course, they say come on over to the bright side. This side has been bright. It has been wonderful. It has been fantastic. And to the people of Ramujaji, we are grateful and very proud of what's happening this afternoon.
Yep.
Yep. Tell me.
Yeah, this microphone sounds better now. Letao,
Yes.
it has been a very, very, very great afternoon. Thank you for everything. I hope guys enjoyed all what we gave to the listeners out there today.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I think it was more than enjoyable. It was informative. It's something that I, as a woman, for one, am very proud to be part of such an experience where this queenship, this recognition of queenship, is the first and the only in the entire continent that's happening, and you and I got to be part of that historical moment.
Hopefully that will remain in their upstairs archive for the rest of their lives.
Of course, but for you, what does it mean for you to actually be part of something so wonderful and so great?
I think you've just given a sum up of how grateful we feel today of the nation of Balobedu, Ramujaji, to be bestowed with the kingship. I'm very, very excited.
And you're quite
it's
familiar.
It's very few. I only know of the Zulu kingship. Then is this one. Yeah.
But you are very familiar to this particular area yourself, right?
Are you referring to
Personally?
Ramukwakwaila?
No, the entire area, Ramujaji.
Not really. I'm from Soweto.
And you don't know the language at all?
No.
You don't speak any Kilobedu?
No.
Absolutely not.
No, I didn't grow up.
Indulge me.
Oh, abakilobedu. Yakona kamada. Hey. Ke
Okay.
Yeah.
Ke kae mo?
Medinyeni. Mo ga swa gapane.
Okay.
location.
Okay.
Yeah, ke a ga Ntona Kgapane.
And then the idea that there's a possibility hore Kilobedu is going
To be the 12th language.
Yeah, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel I don't know how to express my feeling about this, because the cabinet has approved this, just like the Khoi language, and re tlo tsamaya mo re ke a populate o ke a chabele kilo o le aba re ke nyaka le gadrela boso.
I think now that we have achieved this,
Yeah.
the next mission is to make Stokwa a 13th official language.
Well, if only you understand Hore, Slobedu, Balobedu, they are the people who come from Rhodesia, the old Rhodesia.
Yes.
And they came down, Batla Kamola Venda. Abafitla Mola Venda. Then they broke into pieces. Babangwa Shalamola, they speak Venda. Then Babangwa Bafitla Luitrehad. Ba broke up by Botokwa. Babangwa Tabulobedu. So we are one thing.
Yes.
Vendors and Balobedi and Batokwas, we are one thing.
Bana bangatreti.
Wena. Ape, agir wena ko na ra mkhopa. Onya ko re na re no pele wena o te o tise bo soka stageni.
Friday, thank you so much for the experience. It was wonderful.
You're welcome, my big sister.
Have a good one.
Hopefully we'll meet again sooner.
Absolutely, sooner rather than later.
Yep.
Hey, MTN, everywhere you go. Thank you so much for this broadcast. I mean, they say come on over to the bright side. This is what the bright side
everywhere
looks like.
You go.
Everywhere you go. It's yellow summer, yellow summer.
Yellow summer.
Thank you so much to MTN.
Bye.
Goodbye.